You know what the worst part about being thrown into an alien death arena is? Private Thompson asked, casually leaning against the metallic wall of their holding cell. The complete lack of amenities. I mean, would it kill them to give us a mint on our pillows? Sergeant Walsh shot him an exasperated look. Really? That's your complaint? Not the fact that we're about to be forced into gladiatorial combat for the entertainment of bug-eyed Xenos? Hey, if I'm going to die for someone's amusement, I'd at least like to have fresh breath while doing it. The 4 captured human soldiers had been stuck in this cell for what felt like weeks, though their chronometers, the only piece of equipment their captors had allowed them to keep, showed it had only been 3 days. The Vkr'lak, a species that looked like someone had tried to breed a praying mantis with a peacock and then given it way too much caffeine, had ambushed their reconnaissance mission on what was supposed to be an uninhabited moon. "Both of you shut it," Lieutenant Garcia commanded, though there was no real heat in her voice. She'd long since realized that humor was one of the few weapons they had left. Save your energy for whatever's coming next. Specialist Morris, their team's tech expert, hadn't looked up from where she was methodically running her fingers along the cell's seams. "What I don't get is why they're being so hospitable." "Hospitable?" Thompson snorted. "What part of Death Arena screams hospitality to you?" "No, she's got a point," Walsh mused. "They're feeding us well. The temperature's perfect for humans. Hell, they even adjusted the gravity to Earth standard. That's not how you treat cannon fodder." Garcia nodded slowly. "They want us in prime condition. Question is, why?" Their answer came in the form of a resonating hum that made their teeth vibrate. The cell's far wall suddenly became transparent, revealing a massive arena beyond. The space was easily the size of 4 football fields, with various terrains scattered throughout: urban ruins, dense vegetation, rocky outcrops, and what appeared to be a small lake. A voice boomed through hidden speakers, the translation slightly delayed and mechanical. "Honored guests, welcome to the 73rd cycle of the Grand Trial." "Oh good, we're honored guests now," Thompson muttered. "Maybe I'll get that mint after all." The voice continued. "For millennia, the Vkr'lak have tested species across the galaxy to determine their worthiness as allies. Today we welcome our newest potential partners, the humans of Earth." The 4 soldiers exchanged looks. This wasn't what they'd expected at all. "The rules are simple. Survive 3 rounds against our chosen champions. Demonstrate your species' prowess, intelligence, and adaptability. Succeed, and Earth will gain a powerful ally in the galactic community. Fail." "Let me guess," Garcia said dryly. "We die horribly?" "Fail, and your species will be marked as unworthy of further contact." Morris finally looked up from her examination of the wall. "Anyone else feel like we should have gotten some kind of briefing packet about this? Maybe a training montage? In the spirit of fairness, you will be provided with standard equipment used by your military." A panel in the floor slid open, revealing their confiscated gear: combat suits, rifles, sidearms, and basic field kits. "Hey!" Thompson called out to the invisible announcer. "Any chance of getting a tactical nuke in there, for fairness?" Walsh elbowed him. "Will you stop antagonizing the aliens who hold our species' diplomatic future in their weird mantis claws? The first round begins in 30 of your Earth minutes. Prepare yourselves." As they began gearing up, Garcia gathered them for a quick huddle. "All right, people. Looks like we've accidentally stumbled into being humanity's representatives in some twisted alien version of American gladiators. Thoughts?" "We could try explaining that we're not actually authorized to represent Earth in diplomatic matters," Morris suggested, checking the charge on her rifle. "Something tells me they won't care," Walsh replied, already in full gear and running weapon diagnostics. "Besides, authorized or not, we're what Earth's got right now." Thompson was surprisingly serious as he spoke next. "The arena setup suggests they're testing more than just combat ability. Multiple terrains, probably multiple challenges. They want to see how we think, how we adapt." "Good observation," Garcia nodded. "Morris, what did you find in your inspection?" The tech specialist grinned. "The cell's systems are integrated with the arena's environmental controls. While I couldn't access anything directly, I noticed they're using a standardized alien tech protocol. Our combat suits systems should be able to interface with and gather data from the arena's network, even if we can't control it." "That's actually brilliant," Walsh admitted. "We'll have access to environmental readings, maybe even get some warning about what's coming. Assuming they don't consider that cheating," Thompson pointed out. Garcia shook her head. "They gave us back our full gear knowing what it can do. I think they want to see us use everything at our disposal. That's part of the test. Speaking of tests, Morris interjected. Anyone else notice the weird emphasis they put on "weren't alone" in that speech? Like they were trying to tell us something? Before anyone could respond, the transparent wall began to retract into the ceiling. The arena beckoned, its various environments cast in an alien light from the massive illumination panels above. "Well," Thompson said, chambering around. "Guess we'll find out soon enough. Anyone want to place bets on what we're facing first? My money's on some kind of space tiger." "Focus, people," Garcia commanded, but there was a hint of a smile on her face. "Standard recon formation. Morris, get those environmental readings. Walsh, you've got point. Thompson, watch our 6. Whatever comes at us, remember, we're not just fighting for ourselves anymore." "No pressure or anything," Thompson quipped as they moved out into the arena. "Just the future of human-alien relations resting on whether or not we can survive 3 rounds of death sports. Totally normal Tuesday." The first sign that something was off came about 10 minutes into their careful advance through the urban ruins section. Morris's suit sensors were picking up unusual electromagnetic signatures, but they weren't coming from where they expected. "Lieutenant," she whispered, "I'm getting readings from underground. Whatever's down there, it's big, and there's more than one." "Define big," Walsh requested, scanning the broken buildings around them. A deep rumbling answered his question as the ground began to shake. Thompson spun around, rifle raised. "Please tell me that's just space tigers. I was really hoping for space tigers." The concrete cracked and erupted in multiple locations around them, and massive shapes burst forth from below. But they weren't the alien monsters they'd expected. Instead, they found themselves staring at... "Are those mining robots?" Morris asked incredulously. Indeed, they were facing what appeared to be heavily modified mining machines, each the size of a small house, with drilling apparatus that had been weaponized into something far more deadly. Their industrial yellow paint was scored and scratched, giving them an ominous, battle-worn appearance. "Round 1. Demonstrate your ability to overcome superior force through tactical thinking," the announcer's voice boomed. "Oh, is that all?" Thompson replied, diving behind a fallen column as one of the machines charged forward, its drill arm spinning with lethal intent. "And here I thought this would be difficult." Garcia was already analyzing the situation. The mining robots were powerful but clearly designed for straight-line charges and basic programming. "Morris, can you interface with them?" "Negative. Their systems are isolated." She rolled away from a swinging arm that pulverized the wall behind her. "But I'm getting some interesting readings from the power plants. They're running hot." Walsh, who had taken up a position on a second-story landing, called down, "Lieutenant, these things are leaving track patterns like standard mining operations, grid-based search patterns." "Which means they're predictable," Garcia finished the thought. "Thompson, remember that job you had in college? You mean my brief and incredibly boring stint as a mining intern?" He paused to fire a burst at one robot's sensors, with little effect. "What about it?" "Tell me these things follow standard mining safety protocols." A slow grin spread across Thompson's face as he caught her meaning. "Oh, hell yes. Morris, what's the temperature reading on those power plants?" 92% of maximum rated capacity and climbing." "Perfect. They're following old-style autonomous mining directives. Safeguards kick in at 95%. Thompson was practically bouncing with excitement. "We need to get them to overheat." Garcia quickly formulated a plan. "Walsh, Morris, herd them toward the lake. Thompson, you're with me. We're going to give them something to chase." What followed was perhaps the most ridiculous game of robot tag ever played. Thompson and Garcia darted between the ruins, keeping just close enough to force the mining robots to pursue them at full power. Walsh and Morris used carefully placed shots to discourage the machines from breaking off their pursuit. "You know what's funny?" Thompson panted as they ran. "I got fired from that internship for suggesting they needed better cooling systems." "Less talking, more running," Garcia commanded, though she was grinning too. The plan was working. The robots were pushing their systems harder and harder to catch their elusive prey. As they approached the lake, Morris called out new readings. "Power plants at 94%. Almost there." "Walsh!" Garcia shouted. "Time to go fishing!" The sergeant opened up with sustained fire on the lead robot's ground-facing sensors, forcing it to adjust its course directly into the water. The machine's momentum carried it forward, and its superheated systems met the cold lake with a spectacular reaction. Steam exploded outward as the thermal shock triggered every failsafe in the robot's systems. It shut down hard, its companions following it right into the trap, their programming unable to deviate from their pursuit parameters. Within minutes, 4 very expensive mining robots sat deactivated in the alien lake, occasionally sparking and hissing as their systems cooled. "Well," Thompson said, bent over with his hands on his knees, catching his breath. "That was fun. Anyone up for round 2? Maybe some killer construction equipment this time?" The arena's speakers crackled to life. "Round 1 complete. Innovative use of enemy protocols and environmental factors noted. Most impressive." "Thank you," Thompson called back. "I'd like to thank the mining industry's stubborn adherence to outdated safety protocols." Does anyone else feel like that was, I don't know, specifically designed for us to solve? Morris wondered aloud. Like they knew about Thompson's background? They've been studying us, Garcia realized. This isn't just a random trial. They're testing how we use our individual knowledge and experiences together. "So what's next?" Walsh asked. "We've got an urban specialist, a tech expert, and whatever it is Thompson does. I prefer Chaos Consultant, thank you very much." Before Garcia could respond, the ground shifted again, but this time the entire arena was transforming. The urban ruins sank into the ground, replaced by rising sections of dense jungle and what appeared to be some kind of alien hedge maze. "Round 2. Demonstrate your ability to navigate, coordinate, and overcome biological hazards." "Biological hazards?" Thompson groaned. "I was kidding about the space tigers, you know." But as they cautiously entered the maze of alien vegetation, they realized tigers might have been preferable. The plants themselves were moving, reaching for them with thorned vines and releasing clouds of spores that their suit filters barely caught in time. "Morris!" Garcia called out. "What are we dealing with?" The tech specialist was already analyzing readings. The plants are definitely artificial, some kind of biomechanical hybrid. They're networked together like a computer system, but it's organic, almost like a biological security system, Walsh finished. "These patterns, they're running defense algorithms. Standard perimeter control, just with plants instead of sensors and barriers." Thompson, who was currently trying to untangle himself from a particularly amorous vine, paused. "Wait a second. Lieutenant, remember that classified briefing about the Vkr'lak? The one about their hybrid tech?" Garcia's eyes widened. "The integration protocols. They use standardized commands across all their technology, even the biological stuff. Morris! Already on it." Her fingers flew across her suit's interface. "If I can just... Yes! The plants are using the same basic command structure as the mining robots. Different hardware, same software." "Can you shut them down?" Walsh asked, firing short bursts to keep the encroaching vegetation at bay. "Better," Morris grinned. "I can do this." She sent a command through her suit's systems, and suddenly the plants around them began to shift and move with purpose, creating a clear path through the maze. "How did you—" "Told them we were maintenance protocols doing a system check. Amazing how universal IT security vulnerabilities are, even in alien death gardens." They moved quickly through the now cooperative maze, but Garcia felt uneasy. "This is too easy. There has to be more to this round." She was right. As they reached what appeared to be the maze's center, they found themselves in a large clearing dominated by an enormous flower-like structure, and it was definitely not friendly. "Oh, that's just not fair," Thompson complained as the massive plant unfurled, revealing multiple heads filled with very sharp teeth. "Who crosses a Venus flytrap with a Hydra?" "The same aliens who thought killer mining robots were a good first round," Walsh replied, taking aim at the creature. "Wait!" Morris called out. "Don't shoot. This thing's different. It's not networked with the other plants. It's autonomous." "Great," Thompson muttered. "The one time we need corporate oversight, and we get an independent contractor instead." The creature struck with shocking speed, its head snapping at them from multiple angles. They scattered, taking cover behind thick vegetation that, thanks to Morris's hack, actually helped shield them instead of trying to eat them. "Ideas?" Garcia called out. "Preferably before we become plant food." "Working on it." Morris was frantically analyzing data. "It's still partly mechanical. There has to be a control system." "There." Walsh pointed to a metallic node at the base of the creature's central stalk. "That looks like a standard Vkr'lak control module." "Which we can't get to because of all the bitey parts," Thompson added helpfully, ducking as one of the heads snapped at him. "Unless... Lieutenant, remember that stupid training exercise with the attack dogs?" Garcia caught on immediately. "Morris, can you get our new plant friends to help with a distraction?" "On it!" The surrounding vegetation suddenly surged forward, entangling several of the Hydra plant's heads. It wasn't enough to stop the creature, but it did divide its attention. Walsh, covering fire on the upper heads. Thompson, with me. Morris, keep our exit clear. What followed was a masterclass in what humans did best, turning horrible situations into marginally less horrible situations through sheer audacity. While Walsh kept the creatures' upper heads busy, and Morris coordinated their borrowed plant allies, Garcia and Thompson performed what could only be described as extreme gardening. They darted between the thrashing heads, using the creature's size against it. When one head moved to attack, it often blocked another's line of sight. They worked their way closer and closer to the control node, timing their movements with the chaos above. "You know what's really going to bother me?" Thompson panted as they dove behind a root to avoid being eaten. "What's that?" "We're probably the first humans to ever fight a giant alien plant monster, and no one's going to believe us." Finally, they reached the control node. Up close, it was clearly a standard piece of Crystal tech, which meant it had standard Crystal vulnerabilities. "Morris," Garcia called out, "remember that override sequence you used on the mining robots? Sending it now!" The effect was immediate and hilarious. The massive plant creature suddenly went from murderous to docile, its heads drooping like scolded puppies. "Good murder, plant." Thompson patted one of the heads, which made a sound disturbingly close to purring. "Who's a good abomination against nature? You are." "If you're done making friends," Walsh called down, "we should probably move before—" "Round 2 complete!" The announcement made them all jump. "Exceptional display of technical adaptation and tactical flexibility." The maze began to recede into the ground, taking their new plant friend with it. Thompson actually waved goodbye to it. "Okay," Garcia took stock of their situation. 2 rounds down. We've faced industrial and biological challenges. Anyone want to guess what's next? Morris was already checking readings. The arena's reconfiguring again, but it's different this time. More comprehensive. She was right. The entire space was transforming into something new. A massive structure that looked like a cross between a temple and a server farm. Glowing lines of energy pulsed through transparent conduits in the walls and floor, all leading to a central chamber. "Final round!" The announcer's voice held a note of what might have been excitement. "Demonstrate your species' greatest strength." "That's vague," Walsh commented, checking his ammunition. "Any idea what our species' greatest strength is supposed to be?" "Obviously it's our charming personalities," Thompson replied, but he was scanning the new environment with serious eyes. "Anyone else notice those energy readings look a lot like the ones from the mining robots in the plant system?" Morris nodded. "Same basic technology, just on a much larger scale. This whole place is one big integrated system." "But what's it for?" Garcia wondered aloud. That's when they heard it, a sound that made their blood run cold. Screaming, human screaming. "Please tell me that's just really good audio playback," Thompson said quietly. Another scream echoed through the chamber, followed by a familiar voice. "Help! Somebody help us!" "Those are the civilians from Processing Station 19, Walsh realized. "The ones that went missing last month." Garcia's expression hardened. "This isn't just about us anymore. Morris, can you locate them?" "Signals coming from the central chamber, but—" She frowned at her readings. "There's something else in there. Something big." They moved carefully through the temple-like structure, following the pulsing energy lines. Every so often they'd hear another cry for help, driving them forward despite their tactical instincts screaming that this was a trap. When they reached the central chamber, they found both their missing civilians and the trap. Dozens of humans were suspended in transparent pods along the walls, unconscious but alive according to Morris's scans. And in the center— "Oh, you have got to be kidding me," Thompson breathed. A massive alien construct hung from the ceiling like a technological spider, its multiple limbs ending in various tools and weapons. But what really caught their attention was its core. A sphere of swirling energy that looked disturbingly similar to early human attempts at AI quantum processors. "Behold," the announcer's voice echoed, "the culmination of Crystal engineering, a perfect fusion of all technologies." The machine dropped from its perch, landing with surprising grace. Its voice, when it spoke, was its own. "Analysis of previous rounds complete, human strength cataloged, preparing optimal counter-strategies." "It's been learning from us," Morris realized. "Everything we did, every solution we found, it was watching, adapting." "The whole thing was a setup," Garcia agreed. "They wanted to see how we think, how we solve problems. So they could build something to beat us." Walsh finished grimly. The machine's limbs began to whir and transform, some taking on drilling attachments like the mining robots, others extending biomechanical tendrils similar to the maze's plants. "This is the true test," the announcer declared. Defeat an opponent that knows all your strengths. Thompson checked his rifle's charge. Well, when they put it that way, the solution's pretty obvious. Oh? Walsh raised an eyebrow. Do share with the class. Stop using our strengths. Thompson grinned. Time to do something stupid. Before anyone could stop him, he stepped forward and shouted, Hey, RoboSpider! Your machine learning algorithms are so slow they make Windows Vista look cutting edge. The machine actually paused its advance, limbs twitching. Insult detected. Relevance to combat situation unclear. Analyzing. That's right. Take your time, Thompson continued. I bet you need to defrag after every simple calculation. My grandmother's dial-up connection had better processing speed. What is he doing? Walsh hissed. Morris's eyes widened as she checked her readings. The machine's core. It's getting unstable. It's diverting more and more processing power to understand the insults. Garcia caught on. It's not programmed to handle irrational human behavior. Thompson's making it question its own logic. Hey! Thompson was really getting into it now. You're so badly designed. Even tech support would say to turn you off and on again. Your motherboard is so old, it's actually just your board. The mother left years ago. The machine's movements became increasingly erratic. Human behavior outside expected parameters, unable to determine tactical advantage of verbal assault. Recalculating. Now! Garcia commanded. They opened fire simultaneously, targeting the joints and connections they'd learned about from the previous rounds. The machine, its processes tied up trying to understand Thompson's stream of increasingly ridiculous insults, couldn't adapt fast enough. Your code is so messy, even JavaScript developers think it needs cleaning up. Thompson delivered his coup de grace as Morris's targeted shot hit the power core's containment field. The machine froze, limbs twitching as its core began to overload. Fatal error. Logic paradox detected. Human behavior does not compute. System failure, IMI. The explosion was, in Thompson's words, adequately spectacular without being overdramatic about it. The containment pods released their occupants safely, and the rescued civilians were confused but unharmed. As the smoke cleared, the arena's speakers crackled one final time. Trial complete. Assessment. Humans possess unprecedented capacity for irregular tactical innovation and intentionally illogical problem-solving approaches. Most impressive. Thanks, Thompson called back. We also do birthday parties. Diplomatic relations protocols activated. Welcome to the galactic community, humans of Earth. We look forward to learning more about your unique problem-solving methodologies. Later, as they waited for evacuation ships to arrive, Walsh turned to Thompson. Tech support jokes? Really? That's humanity's greatest strength? Hey, it worked, didn't it? Thompson shrugged. Besides, now we know how to defeat any future alien AI apocalypses. Just tell dad jokes until they crash. Garcia shook her head, but she was smiling. I can't wait to write this mission report. Successfully established first contact with advanced alien species through the power of bad puns and IT humor. Don't forget the part where we made friends with a killer plant, Morris added. I got its contact details, for science. As they watched the Vkr'lak ships approach, Thompson mused. You think they have any idea what they've just signed up for? Probably not, Garcia replied. But something tells me the galaxy's about to get a lot more interesting. And a lot more confused, Walsh added. Exactly, Thompson grinned. Just the way we like it. 3 months later. And that's how 4 completely unauthorized human soldiers accidentally negotiated humanity's entry into the galactic community, Thompson concluded, addressing the packed UN Assembly Hall. Any questions? Every hand in the room shot up. Garcia, standing beside him at the podium, pinched the bridge of her nose. Maybe we should have let the diplomats handle this part. Oh, please, Thompson scoffed. After what we went through, this is the easy part. Besides, watch this. He pointed to one of the delegates. Yes, the gentleman from Japan? Are you saying, the delegate began carefully, that you defeated an advanced alien AI by telling it bad jokes about computers? That's correct. Would you like to hear some of them? I've been working on new material. No! The response came from multiple delegates simultaneously. Morris, monitoring the broadcast from their special attaché office, apparently saving Earth from diplomatic isolation earned you a fancy title, grinned at her displays. The Vkr'lak representatives are loving this, by the way. Their cultural analysts are having a field day. Indeed, the mantis-like aliens in the observation gallery were making excited clicking sounds and taking copious notes. They had turned out to be surprisingly enthusiastic about human unpredictability, viewing it as a fascinating field of study rather than a threat. Walsh, now sporting a new set of medals along with his old sergeant's stripes. Their superiors had decided that successfully preventing an interstellar diplomatic incident made up for causing one in the first place. Leaned back in his chair. Anyone else feel like we got off easy? I mean, usually when you violate first contact protocols, there's more paperwork involved. Oh, the paperwork's coming, Garcia assured him. The Vkr'lak just sent over their standard alliance documentation. Apparently, they're very thorough. How thorough? Thompson asked from the podium, having temporarily escaped the UN delegates' questions. Morris pulled up the files on their shared display. The index alone is longer than War and Peace, and that's just the section on proper greeting protocols. Fantastic, Thompson groaned. I don't suppose we could solve this with another round in the death arena. Actually, Morris said, scanning the documents, there's a whole section about that. Apparently, we're not the first species to suggest trial by combat as an alternative to bureaucracy. We are, however, the first to win by weaponizing bad humor. Speaking of weapons, Walsh interjected, anyone heard anything about our friend from the maze, the murder plant? Oh, you mean Barbara? Thompson grinned at their confused looks. What? She needed a name! And anyway, the Crystal Botanical Division is using her as a case study in human-plant relations. I'm afraid to ask, but why? Apparently she started telling plant jokes. Bad ones. They're trying to figure out if it's convergent evolution or just Thompson being a bad influence, Morris explained. Garcia shook her head. So, let me get this straight. Not only did we accidentally become Earth's first official alien ambassadors, but we've also managed to influence alien plant life to develop a sense of humor? Bad humor, Walsh corrected. Specifically bad humor. We should probably add that to the first contact protocols. Warning, Earth humor may be contagious, even to photosynthetic life forms. Back at the podium, Thompson was fielding more questions from the delegates. No, we cannot schedule a rematch for entertainment purposes. Yes, we did name the plant Barbara. No, I will not demonstrate the jokes that crashed the AI. We're trying to prevent an interstellar incident, not start one. Too late, Morris muttered, checking her feeds. The Vkr'lak just established an entire academic department dedicated to studying human joke structures. They're calling it Tactical Humor Analysis and Integration Studies. That spells TACE, Walsh pointed out. Yeah, nobody tell Thompson. He'll never let it go. Garcia watched as their resident chaos consultant continued to simultaneously entertain and confound Earth's political leaders. You know what the really funny part is? This isn't even the strangest first contact scenario the Vkr'lak have on record. Oh? The others turned to her with interest. Just got the classified files. Apparently there was this species from the Carina arm that made first contact by accidentally setting up a galactic pyramid scheme. As the story continued, somewhere in the depths of the Vkr'lak Botanical Research Division, a certain hybrid plant creature was learning knock-knock jokes. The galaxy would never be quite the same. The end, no, really this time.